Welcome to John Essex Sports Channel, where we're going to go through the Championship Week 10 predictions, and we're going to go with Friday 8 p.m. Borough versus Ipswich. Borough in second, Ipswich in ninth. And Ipswich started off quite well. I think they played some good football, but then recently just seemed to have died down for a little bit. And then most recently, in the last 3 or 4 games, they started to play really well, starting with the 5-0 demolition of Sheffield United, of course, at home. So Middlesbrough, win, draw, lose, slightly, wheels slightly falling off here, even though they're in second. That Portsmouth game, that one. Min Hook scoring on 23 minutes, Portsmouth. I do see one of the games where the stats don't really marry up with the game. I thought Portsmouth had a reasonable amount of possession here. The official figures are Borough had 62% possession. Didn't quite see it as that out of sync, but they also had 12 shots against 12 shots at target against Portsmouth's 8. So you can see how they were letting out a good shot occasionally, but it was just see the goal and try and blast it at the goal on a nice low level. Out of those 12 shots, 6 of them were blocked. 6 of them, half of them went so low that they were just blocked and kicked straight back out again. It's, you've got to be able to place it past, over, around the defenders, not just blast it straight at them. Borough's technical ability just didn't seem to. Either they didn't get the look, or Portsmouth did get the look. Please do tell me down below. Like and subscribe. Tell me in the comments. But here, the Portsmouth fans will be feeling really happy. 1 shot on target each. And it was what Portsmouth 1, Borough 0. That's about all you can say. 1 shot on target each, and Borough didn't get theirs in the net. Portsmouth did. Ipswich Town, it's been lose, draw, win, draw, win. And you can see those last 4. The draw coming against a good Bristol City side away, 1-1 as well. So this has been a good 4 games run for Ipswich. Will it continue? Ipswich 3, Norwich City 1. The only issue I have here is probably the point that I would say Borough are usually quite good at. But think of that Portsmouth game, because Ipswich did do well here. 19 shots, 9 on target, and they were really, really good for the money. 6 of them were blocked here, which is again another big number, and the percentages are pretty similar to the Borough team. So that is quite interesting because they're playing each other. So keep that in mind. Their defence, though, Ipswich, they allowed Norwich to have a little bit too much room in their in their half, certainly. 12 shots for Norwich, 4 on target, 1 in the net. Quite average for a sort of top 10 side. I think that Norwich will be thinking 3-1. It didn't really seem that far, that much. Of a balance, an imbalance between these two sides, did it? I would have said 2-1 to Ipswich would have been about right, but for the fact that Ipswich they just seem to be hitting them a little bit low, not quite placing them for me, and that means that we've got 2 teams that are doing exactly the same thing up front. Which one is worse in defence? Well, if we go back to that Portsmouth game, that Borough's defence was actually quite good. It reduced Portsmouth to just 8 shots at target during the entire game. And I would say that the Borough side for me is slightly edging it, and they're at home. However, their last results have been a little bit poor, haven't they? And it must play on their mind. A draw against Southampton, a 1-1, a draw against Stoke City, 0-0, and a defeat against Portsmouth, 1-0. What are you saying? 1-1, 2-2, 2-2, 1-1, 3-3, and a 1-2 to Ipswich. I'm actually going to go with one. I'm going to go with the majority here. I'm going to go Borough 2, Ipswich 2. Move on to Oxford Derby. Of course, this one is on a Saturday, and this is a really important game down at the bottom. Oxford 22nd, Derby in 20th, and whichever one loses this is going to be really looking over their shoulder. They're certainly not going to be looking ahead. They're going to be looking behind at the teams catching them up. And Sheffield United are on bottom, remember, and they won't be staying there, I don't think. Oxford Derby. We've got Oxford with a draw, win, lose, draw, lose. Last three been playing pretty poorly, I think, and realistically there's not a lot we can say. Watford game, Watford 2, Oxford 1, and it was literally 45 minutes and 4 minutes into extra time at half time where Watford won this one. And Watford really did. They ran this. It was actually about a 2-1 game. It was about a 2-1 game, but the Watford side did give Oxford an awful lot of chances. 10 shots on target for Watford, 5 shots on target for Oxford, and both of these sides were really on the ball up front, and pretty good accuracy, but the defences of both of these were you don't want to be doing that if you want to be in the top end. We've got a good Watford win there, and I think that Oxford would have been thinking, although they let Watford have an awful lot more passes and a lot more of the ball and a lot more shots, they would have been thinking they could have got that draw, and I'm just a little bit worried about that team at the minute. Didn't quite fall for them. Possibly should have. Let's go to Derby County. Draw, win, lose, draw. 3 draws. Wrexham 1-1, Charlton 1-1, Southampton 1-1. Ooh, Southampton 1-1 then. The last game, and Derby County equalised after 40 minutes there. So and then it sort of like came a little bit boring, and Southampton have been involved in a couple of boring games, not less the Portsmouth game, of course, and very good accuracy for these teams. 9 shots for Derby, 5 on target. 13 shots for Southampton, 6 on target. I would actually say that I would argue, that Southampton had the better passing. They passed more clinically. They passed better. More of their passes actually completed. I think that Southampton would have probably been thinking, we should have just nicked this one. But they didn't. It was a 1-1 draw. What are you thinking with Oxford Derby then? Really important, this one. 1-2, 1-1, 0-1, 1-1, 1-3, 1-2. A lot of people thinking Derby County because they do seem to have that a little bit better defence there. And I'm sort of edging towards Derby, but I think this Oxford at home can play some really reasonably good football, and they were ahead against Sheffield United at home. Really, they lost 1-0, but that team really would have been thinking, how did we lose it? They were miles ahead. I remember Sky Sport, not Sky Sports, Sport Radio, saying how amazingly ahead Oxford were, and they lost it. I think that this team can play some good football. We're going to go with Oxford 1, Derby 1, and we've got too many draws now, so we'll go into QPR versus Millwall, which, believe it or not, was going to be a draw, and I cannot make it a draw, can I? So let's have a look at their last 6. So QPR, win, draw, win. Last time out was an away win. Bristol City 1, QPR 2, and this team can play some really good football, but Bristol City ran this one really well. Both teams not wanting to lose it. There's only 1 shot on target for Bristol City, 2 shots on target for QPR, and a fair few QPR shots were cleared and blocked, so we've got to think about that one. Bristol City's passing was really good as well. QPR's was okay. Millwall, though, let's have a look at Millwall. Draw, win, lose, win. Very good win for Millwall last time out. Millwall 3, West Brom 0. And this West Brom side, we were thinking, how did we not get more of those shots actually on target? Half of their 10 shots were blocked. And that's the critical crime here, isn't it? 5 blocked, 4 off target, 1 on target, and that's exactly why West Brom got 0 here. And it's why Millwall with 11 shots and 4 on target and 3 in the net, more clinical, precision shooting, absolutely grabbing a point in the net and shooting at it, making sure you're not going to get it blocked. It was really good football from the front end, and I think the back end, the defence was actually quite solid as well. So that's why I'm going to go where I'm going. QPR versus Millwall, 6th versus 8th. What are you thinking? 1-1, 1-0, 2-1, 2-1, 3-1, 2-1. I'm actually going to go against everybody here. Can't see that. Millwall have been doing some really good football. I'm going to go with QPR 1, Millwall 2. And we move on to Southampton versus Swansea. Like I said, guys, Southampton, they've been, every so often they play a really boring game of football. And I've not seen that excitement that we thought we'd get from the Southampton side coming down at all. Southampton is 17th, Swansea in 12th. And Swansea started off doing some really good attacking football, looking like they were going to score quite freely. Didn't happen. Let's see what we've got for Southampton. Draw, lose, draw, win, draw. Last time out, a draw against Derby County. This is the one we've just been on. And I think that Southampton would have been a little bit aggrieved that they didn't get more of those shots actually precision better than that. 6 on target and 1 in the net. They really should have been winning this one just about, especially with 63% possession. I think that Derby should really have nailed this one, but Southampton should have nailed this one. Didn't quite do it. They'll have been quite gutted. How about the actual game itself then? Southampton versus Swansea. They're playing a Swansea side in 12th that has been doing quite well, but they're hit and miss. Draw, win, lose, draw, win, lose. So is it going to be a draw? Maybe. Swansea City won, Leicester 3 last time out. For me, I don't know where the 3-1 came from. It should have been a draw. Yeah, I can see how Leicester fans will think that they deserved to win it, but the passing was amazing. Both sides produced some amazing passing. This was one of the games where they just allowed the other side to pass. Both teams allowed the opposition to do it when they had the ball while they're in their own half. Let them pass it. The passing was brilliant. The passing was precision from both of these sides. Well done to both of them. Entertaining, yes. 13 shots to Swansea, 17 to Leicester City. 7 shots each on target, and yet Leicester won it 3-1. Swansea would have been absolutely gutted with this one, so because they should have at least got a draw with that one. I think Southampton versus Swansea, then both teams I think having these points where they think we should have won that one, we should have won it, and especially with the draws, we should have won that one, but or the win there for Swansea against Leicester should have at least drawn it. And they lost it 3-1. It sounds so bad, but it wasn't. What are you saying? Southampton, Swansea, 2-1, 1-0, 0-0, 3-1, 1-1. I can't see this being a Southampton override at all. Saying 3-1. The last time, no, I can't even think when the last time Southampton scored 3. We're going to go with Southampton 0, Swansea 0, and move on to the next game. So Birmingham, Hull next, and Birmingham 16th, Hull in 15th. The last time out, Birmingham just couldn't break past that Wrexham side. Could they? Wrexham scoring first and then on 13, and then Birmingham on 46 as soon as they came out. Great time to score, isn't it? Birmingham actually just about, for me, they played better football. They passed it better. There was more clinical passing. Did they do enough to get into the opposition? Well, no. I mean, I think that when they got there, the Wrexham side was pretty good at stopping them. But equally, I think that the same of Birmingham's with Wrexham's attack. So it was probably a good point that that Wrexham got here, because Birmingham really were allowed to pass it very, very clinically and just a little bit more often than what Wrexham were. They had a little bit more of the ball visually when you're looking at the replay. They had a little bit more precision with their passing. I think they probably deserved to win this one again, another one of those games, but they didn't. Last time out for Hull City, let's have a look. Lose, draw, win. Lose, draw, win. I mean, what's going to happen here, guys? The Hull City, they've been doing really well. Remember, 15th position, a lot higher than what we thought they would be. They did have the embargo on them, remember. So this Hull City were pretty much under the cosh at Sheffield United. Hull City 1 and Sheffield United 0. And once again, Sheffield United managed to grasp defeat from the jaws of success. And really did. 62% possession to Sheffield United, 13 shots against Hull City's 5, 4 shots on target for Sheffield United against Hull City's 2. And realistically, 5 of their 13 were blocked. So Sheffield United were gutted they didn't win this. They didn't even get a point. It was all points to Hull City. And what are you thinking? Birmingham versus Hull City, 3-2, 2-1, 2-0, 2-2, and 3-1 and 2-1. So all of you are saying, well, one person saying a draw, and I can see why that Hull City managed to, but that was against the run of play, that game. And I think we're either talking a Birmingham win or a draw. I'm actually going to go with a boring one. I'm going to go with Birmingham 2, Hull City 1. And we'll move on to Charlton versus Sheffield Wednesday. Charlton in 13th, Sheffield Wednesday in 23rd. And of course, we'll come to the Sheffield Wednesday in a minute. Charlton lose, draw, win, draw, lose. Last time out, 2-0 defeat to Preston North End. Preston have been playing good and bad and good and bad, and it's they started off really good. Then they had a dip. They started playing well again. Now they're now back fit with all their with enough good players in the team to start pushing up the table. Good passing from this side, not so good passing from Charlton, which is really odd because in League One they were really, really good at passing. That technical ability, especially at home, was good. This was away from home. They did even last year have a little odd thing about going away from home. They weren't quite as clinical away from home. Here they weren't either. No shots on target for Charlton, 3 on target for Preston, 2 in the net. You have to feel for Charlton. They just never were in this one for me. They did get forward, but then they just seemed to blast it, and the only 2 they got at target was were blocked. So unfortunately, it was always going to be a Preston win. Sheffield Wednesday though, lose, win against Portsmouth, draw against QPR and Birmingham, and last time out a 5-0 defeat to Coventry. Coventry. It's Sheffield Wednesday 0, Coventry 5. They're playing dismal at home. They're playing better away from home. This is absolutely interesting because, of course, you've got the hostile crowd at home, and that seems to be making a little bit of a difference, doesn't it? Away from home, brilliant. Very little away support because there's enough people boycotting them there. They do have away support, but I don't think it's a great deal. Please do tell me. Comment down below and like and subscribe. So we've got Charlton versus Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday last time out against Coventry, 5-0 defeat. Was it realistically that good? I tell you what, 21 shots to Coventry, 10 on target, 5 in the net. That front line is, plus 20 goal difference, guys. Most of those teams, if not all of them, haven't even scored 20, let alone got a 20 goal difference. Sheffield Wednesday, none on target. And actually, that's surprising. They have been shooting at and getting goals at target. 9 at target, 7 off target, 2 blocked. Sheffield Wednesday, actually passed. Their passing ability was actually better than Coventry's. It was their clinical abilities in passing. The statistics at least show Sheffield Wednesday was slightly ahead of Coventry on that one. So Charlton versus Sheffield Wednesday. What are you saying? 2-0, 2-1. 1-0, 2-0, 1-1, 2-0. I'm going to go with the majority there. More than half of you are going to go with Charlton 2, Sheffield Wednesday 0, and we'll see where that leaves them at the end of Saturday. Coventry versus Blackburn next. Coventry first. Aren't they on fire against Blackburn in 21st? We have to start worrying here because Coventry are on fire. Draw. The draws against Oxford, Norwich and Leicester. 3 teams that were playing quite poorly at the time. And all of a sudden, the last 3 games, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. Okay, is it going to be 6? Oh dear. 12 goals in 3 games is just ridiculous, isn't it? Blackburn, of course, win, lose, draw. So you can see there the difference is just phenomenal, isn't it? And that's why the Coventry are in first. Sheffield Wednesday game there was just huge, wasn't it? And they deserved that win. Blackburn, of course, last time out against Stoke City. Blackburn won, Stoke City won, and Blackburn nicked this equaliser in the last minute. They probably thought they expected it. Look, Stoke City played some clinical football. Both defences were okay. I'd say Stokes was slightly more rickety than Blackburn's. But on the whole, 1-1, probably a 1-1 game, to be quite honest. That's probably all I can say about it. So what are you saying? Coventry versus Blackburn, 3-0, 4-1, 3-0, 3-1, 3-1 and 4-1. I think that this Coventry side is just unstoppable at the minute. And I'm sorry, Blackburn supporters, I think I'm going to have to go with Coventry 4, Blackburn 1. I think Blackburn will score. A lot of you are thinking the same thing here. And it's Bristol City versus Norwich City versus Bristol City. Norwich City in 19th, Bristol City in 10th. But will Bristol City turn up? They haven't been for the last few games, but neither has Norwich. So 2 teams that are just not turning up here. And we've got Norwich win, draw, lose, lose. Last time out, a 3-1 defeat to Ipswich Town. And like we said, Ipswich Town here really did... They won this one fair and square, 3-1. I think it was probably more of a 2-1 game to me, but the Norwich side on the whole never really looked like winning it. Look, they could have winged it with a draw, which is why I say 2-1 would have probably been a more perfect mirror of the game itself. I think that the passing was probably more sort of mid-table as well. So there wasn't a great deal of technical prowess about it. It was a sort of very much mid-table game of football in the Championship. Bristol City then win, lose, draw, lose, and both of these teams just don't seem to be able to get it together at the minute. And it's a shame because Bristol City have been playing some really brilliant football up to this point, and they've dropped down to this position here, 10th, and they'll probably be thinking, why can't we get back? We need to get back to the old the games we were playing right at the beginning of the season. Bristol City 1, QPR 2. And Bristol City played some absolutely brilliant passing. it was excellent passing, and yeah, how they lost this game with such amazing passing against a side that had less possession, less shots, less clinical passing. But at the end of the day, although Bristol City had more shots, they only had one of them on target, and QPR had two on target. And guess what? QPR scored two of their two. Bristol City scored one of their one. And that's how it ended. Bristol City feeling very disappointed here. So what are we all thinking? Well, both of these teams are in the doldrums. Both of these teams haven't turned up for a couple of weeks or more. Well, who's going to be scoring here? Who's going to be winning? I can't see either of these scoring, to be quite honest. 1-3, 1-2, 2-2, 2-1, 3-1 and 1-1. People thinking there's going to be goals here. I can't see it. I'm going to have to go with Norwich 0. Bristol City 0. I'm going to go with a bore draw. And I really do think that's what I'm going to call it. A bore draw. Sheffield United in 24th. Sorry, I'm going to say 21st then. Against Watford in 11th. And Watford have started to play a little bit better now. They've started to drag a few wins, a few points, should we say, probably at places where they really shouldn't have been getting any points at all, or certainly not winning. And Sheffield United, they've been losing when they should win, like the Southampton game, and they've been winning. Well, they won their one game against Oxford, and they should have lost that one. So it doesn't make any sense, does it? Sheffield United lose, win, lose. Hull City last time out, Hull 1. Sheffield United 0, and Sheffield United did play again. This is one of those games where Sheffield United grabbed defeat from the jaws of success, didn't they? And it was Hull City 1, Sheffield United 0. A good defensive show from Sheffield United, although 2 shots on target for Hull, 1 in the net. A not so good defensive show from Hull City. They allowed Sheffield United in. They had 4 shots on target, which, believe you me, it took several games for Sheffield United to get to amass 4 shots on target. Probably at target, let alone on target. And the Sheffield United side ran this one, really did run it ragged. They had lots of shots. They had more shots. They had more shots on target. They had better passing, just about. Everything was better, but they lost it 1-0. Watford then, let's have a look at those. Draw, lose, win, draw, win. They are the team for me that are on the up. This team is getting the results. Watford 2, Oxford 1. And here, realistically, Watford were on top all the game. They did have better passing. They did have more of the ball. They had almost twice as many shots. They had almost twice as many shots on target. 2-1. Yeah, absolutely. 27 shots for this Watford side. And if they could be clinical about it, they could do a Coventry without any doubt. But at the minute, those last 2 games, Portsmouth 2-2 away from home, they would have been thinking that was a bit of a disappointment. However, it was against a very poor Portsmouth side, to be quite honest. They should have been winning that one. And then Oxford 2-1, like we said, probably was a 2-1 game, but they could have made that one 3 or 4, 3 or 4-1, 3 or 4-2. So it's going to be an interesting look at this one. Sheffield United, Watford, what are you saying? 1-0, 1-0, 1-2, 1-0, 1-1, 1-2 and 2-1. I'm going to go with a Watford win here. I think that it's just rolling for Watford more than it is for Sheffield United. But we know that they're not getting the run of the ball. Sheffield United could be either way. We're going to go Sheffield United 1, Watford 2. Move on to Stoke City versus Wrexham, guys. And Stoke City in 5th versus Wrexham in 18th. And Wrexham the wheels have certainly fallen off here. However, both of these teams have had 3 draws out of their last 3 games, and it does bode interestingly for this game, doesn't it? Stoke City lose, win, lose, draw. Last time out, Blackburn won, Stoke City won. Blackburn nicking it 82 minutes for that equaliser. However, for me, Stoke, everything was equal. Everything was absolutely mid-table football. I can't say any more than that. There's lots of shots, lots on target. Good percentage on target as well, so that you can't say either was poor at getting them on target. But just about, for me, Stoke City had a better style of passing, and they were more. It was just a little bit better passing from Stoke City than it was for Blackburn. If anybody nicked it here, it would have been the Stoke City side. Wrexham though, in 18th, it's been lose, win, win, draw, and their draws have been Derby County, Leicester City and Birmingham 1-1, and Stoke City's have been Norwich, Borough and Blackburn 1-1, 0-0, 1-1. Last time out, Wrexham 1, Birmingham 1. This is exactly the same as the Stoke City game. This was a 1-1 game. Good shots. Birmingham slightly behind on the shots, I think. They didn't quite have the one-touch bang shoot that Wrexham seemed to have. But on the whole, it was a 1-1 game. Except for Birmingham again. Birmingham here had the better passing and the more clinical passing. So you've got the same situation here. But Birmingham were the one with a more clinical football. We've got Stoke City versus Wrexham. And if anybody nicks this, it's going to be Stoke City. Stoke City to what Wrexham won is sort of where I'm thinking of going. Or it's going to be a 1-1. Actually, I'm going to scribble it. It was going to be a 1-1. I'm actually going to move it. I think it's going to be Stoke City 2, Wrexham 1, purely because of the fact they're at home and they just seem to be getting a little bit of a better quality pass than what Wrexham were against Birmingham. So we're going to go with Stoke City 2, Wrexham 1, and we'll move on to West Bromwich Albion versus Preston North End. Now, this West Brom side has been playing some good football, but again, they've been up and down, hit, miss. Do they turn up? Do they not turn up? Win, lose, draw, win, lose. It's just insane. They win against a good a Norwich side that's pretty darn average. 6 games ago, they win against a very good Stoke City side 1-0 away from home as well. So you can see there they played really well. Last time out though, Millwall 3, West Brom 0, and this Albion side was probably thinking, we played some brilliant football. We had 61% possession. They had almost 50% better passing than what Millwall had. They were clinical. They were good. They were dribbling well. They were passing better. But at the end of the day, 11 shots for Millwall, 4 on target, 3 in the net. West Brom, 10 shots, 1 on target, none in the net. And that's it. West Brom going home feeling, what on earth do we have to do to get a point here? This is ridiculous. Preston North End, I've been really, really proud of this team. If you're a supporter of Preston, they've been doing so well with what they've got. They have had a lot of injury problems. One of the Preston fans said, but they've managed to keep some really good defenders in there. They managed to keep a really solid back line for me. Preston lose, draw, win, draw, win. Last time out against Charlton, Preston 2, Charlton 0, and Preston were really well in the driving seat here. They reduced Charlton to 0 shots on target, and believe you me, they only had 2 shots really on target, and they both got blocked. So it was a really good game. Preston took their chances, 3 shots, three shots on target, 2 in the net. Well, nothing for Charlton, so you don't count it. So this Preston side has, for me, been doing really well. Now, I find this really tough because I've got supporters, I've got subs from West Brom and Preston's fans, so it's going to be difficult, this one. Let's see what you're saying. Albion versus Preston North End, 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-1, 3-1 and 1-1. You know, I think that both of these teams are, I mean, Millwall, that Millwall game, West Brom will want to bounce back from that, and they absolutely can, especially at home. And I'm sort of thinking that they can do it. I want to go Preston, but I'm just thinking Drawthorns. I'm thinking Albion 1, Preston 1. If anybody nicks it, I think it's going to be a joker, and it's going to be Preston. But I'm going to go with you saying either an Albion or a draw, and we'll go with a draw. Leicester vs Portsmouth is our last game, and of course Leicester City third, Portsmouth in 14th. Portsmouth really have been playing some poor football until that last game. That last game actually was their first time where they played decent football. And I was saying, wasn't it, they played really poorly against Wednesday, dreadfully. They played really badly against Ipswich. They played okay against Watford with a 2-2 draw, and then they played a lot better against Borough with a win there. So they're playing the Leicester City side, though, that just seem to not be. I don't think the fitness is there, to be quite honest. They seem to just deplete towards the end, or they just seem to get enough shots. It's like the Wimbledon game, you know. Sorry, not the Wimbledon game, the Luton game with Wimbledon, in League One. You know, they seem to be doing the same thing there. Like, they get plenty of game time, they get plenty of possession. They just can't get it in the net at the other end. Leicester City win, draw, win. Last time out, of course, was Swansea City 1, Leicester City 3. This Leicester City side actually were really lucky here. This was a game where both teams kept it in their own half, passing it around extremely well. Really good passing, really good possession football. But by both sides, really good one to watch. But neither back end was really great. 13 shots for Swansea, 17 for Leicester City, 7 shots each on target. Swansea would have been gasping that they only got 1 of those 7 in the back of the net. Leicester City got 3 of the 7. So it was just that final touch being really, really good, which, may I add, hasn't been the case in some of the other games that I've been seeing. So if you think I'm wrong, please do comment down below, like and subscribe. Let's see where that one leaves us. That's the Swansea game. Portsmouth then. Win, draw, lose, draw, win. And for me, that last game, it's been a stepping stone, Portsmouth, for me. They've been getting better and better and better. Minhook for 1-0 on 23 minutes against this Borough side. It was a very defensive game. Another boring game like the Southampton 0-0 game. This one, Portsmouth 1, Borough 0. But Portsmouth took their chance. 1 shot on target for either team. 5 shots blocked, though, for Portsmouth. 6 shots blocked for Borough. This was just a defensive. Both of these teams put a defence up that was just, we'll park the bus. It was just the most. I'm sorry, it has to have been another one of those Southampton games. Good football this time, though, from Portsmouth. They did play some good football. It has been getting better, it must be said. Is it getting better enough to beat this Wednesday side? This Leicester City side, sorry. Leicester City third, Portsmouth 14th, 2-1, 1-0, 2-3, 0-0, 3-3 and 2-0. I can see both of these sides doing quite well. I wouldn't put it past being a 2-3. I really wouldn't put it. In fact, I'm going to actually agree. I'm actually going to agree with somebody here. I'm going to agree with Leicester City 2, Portsmouth 3. Please do like and subscribe. And give me your comments down below what you think to what your predictions will be for this week and possibly for next week, and we'll have them in my calculations. So it's Johnny's Sports Channel over for Week 10 predictions. Please do like and subscribe.